5, verse 21. Sorry, 41. 41. Glories of devotional service. Nanyatra mad bhagavata pradhana purushayeshvara atmana sarvabhutanam bhayam tivram nivartate Nanyatra mad bhagavata pradhana purushayeshvara atmana sarvabhutanam bhayam tivram nivartate Nanyatra mad bhagavata pradhana purusheshvara atmana sarvabhutanam bhayam tivram nivartate Nanyatra mad bhagavata pradhana purusheshvara atmana sarvabhutanam bhayam tivram nivartate
Nanyatra mad bhagavata pradhana purusheshvara atmana sarvabhutanam bhayam tivram nivartate Nanyatra bhagavata pradhana purusheshvara atmana sarvabhutanam bhayam tivram nivartate Nanyatra bhagavata pradhana purusheshvara atmana sarvabhutanam bhayam tivram nivartate Nanyatra bhagavata pradhana purusheshvara atmana sarvabhutanam bhayam tivram nivartate
Word for word meaning. Now.
Not.
Anyatra. Otherwise. Mat. Then myself. Bhagavata. The Supreme Personality of Godhead. Pradhan Purusha Ishvara. The Lord of both Prakriti and Purusha. Atmana. The soul. Sarva Bhutanam. Of all living beings. Bhayam. Fear. Tivram. Terrible. Nivartate. Is forsaken. Where does this word Nivartate come in Bhagavad Gita? Anyone knows? Param Drishwa. So, by getting the higher taste, one can give up the lower taste. Translation. The terrible fear of birth and death can never be forsaken by anyone who resorts to any shelter other than myself. For I am the Almighty Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the original source of all creation and also the Supreme Soul of all souls. Please repeat. The terrible fear of birth and death can never be forsaken by anyone who resorts to any shelter other than myself. For I am the Almighty Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the original source of all creation, and also the Supreme Soul of all souls. Purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. It is indicated herein that the cycle of birth and death cannot be stopped unless one is a pure devotee of the Supreme Lord. It is said, Harim Vina na mritim taranti. One cannot surpass the cycle of birth and death unless one is favored by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The same concept is confirmed herewith. One may take to this system of understanding the absolute truth by one's own imperfect sensory speculation, or one may try to realize the self by the mystic yoga process. But whatever one may do, unless he comes to the point of surrendering to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, no one can give him liberation. One may. So this is one of the points. Hiranyakashipu went to Lord Brahma to get what?
Amar.
To become Amar, to become immortal. It's kind of a liberation some people desire, but Lord Brahma said you cannot give him that. So if one cannot give him immortal life in material world, Lord Brahma is the topmost personality in this material world, right? In this universe, he is the topmost personality. He cannot give something which is material. How can he give liberation which is spiritual? So we have to understand this. This point is very nice. Prabhupada is bringing it out. No process can give him liberation. We will continue, sorry. One may ask if this means that those who are undergoing so much of penance and austerity by strictly following the rules and regulations are endeavoring in vain. The answer is given in Śrīmad Bhāgavatam 10.2.32. Ye anya adinaksha vimukta maninas. Lord Brahma and other demigods prayed to the Lord when Krishna was in the womb of Devaki. My dear lotus feet Lord, there are persons who are puffed up with the thoughts that they have become liberated or one with God or have become God. But in spite of thinking in such a puffed up way, their intelligence is not laudable. They are less intelligent. It is stated that their intelligence, whether high or low, is not even purified. In purified intelligence, a living entity cannot think otherwise than to surrender. Bhagavad Gita therefore confirms that purified intelligence arises in the person of a very wise man. Bahunam janmanam ante gnanvanam prapadete. Bhagavad Gita 7.19. After many births, one who is actually advanced in knowledge, in intelligence, surrenders onto the Supreme Lord. Without the surrendering process, one cannot achieve liberation. The Bhagavatam says, those who are simply puffed up, thinking themselves liberated by some non-devotional process, are not polished or clear in intelligence, for they have not yet surrendered onto you. In spite of executing all kinds of austerity and penances, or even arriving at the brink of spiritual realization, in Brahman realization, they think that they are in effulgence of Brahman. But actually, because they have no transcendental activities, they fall down to material activities. One should not be satisfied simply by knowing that one is Brahman. He must engage himself in the service of the Supreme Brahman, that is Bhakti. The engagement of Brahman should be the service of Parabrahman. The engagement of Brahman should be the service of Parabrahman. We will understand this point. It is said that unless one becomes Brahman, one cannot serve Brahman. The Supreme Brahman is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and the living entity is also Brahman, Spirit. Without realization that he is Brahman, Spirit Soul, and eternal servitor of the Lord, if one simply thinks that he is Brahman, his realization is only theoretical. He has to realize and at the same time engage himself in the devotional service of the Lord. Then he can exist in Brahman status, otherwise he will fall down. The Bhagavatam says that because non-devotees neglect the transcendental loving service of the lotus feet of the personality of Godhead, their intelligence is not sufficient, and therefore these persons fall down. The living entity must have some activity. If he does not engage in activity of transcendental service, he must fall down to material activity. As soon as one falls down to material activities, there is no rescue from the cycle of birth and death. It is stated here by Lord Kapila, without my mercy, Namyatra Mad Bhagavata. The Lord is stated here to be Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, indicated that he is full of all opulences and is therefore perfectly competent to deliver one from the cycle of birth and death. He is also called Pradhan because he is the supreme. He is equal to everyone, but to one who surrenders to him, he is especially favorable. It is also confirmed in Bhagavad Gita that the Lord is equal to everyone. No one is his enemy and no one is his friend. But to one who surrenders unto him, he is especially inclined. By the grace of the Lord, simply by surrendering unto him, one can get out of the cycle of birth and death. Otherwise, one may go on in many lives and may many times attempt other processes for liberation. Om Ajnanatirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Caitanya Dasa Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swami Prabhupada Tadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Prabhupada Shri Guru Vaishnavamsya Shri Rupam Sahagayatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sarvaitam Sarvutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Caitanya Dasa Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishanam Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gauranga Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishimam Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalla Vishaya Samadhu Vishaya Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Radha Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. So there are many points in this verse as well as the purport, and it would take a lot more time if we have to cover many points. So I'll discuss a few points and then we'll go to a pastime which explains this verse and enhances this verse. So first of all, we have to understand in material world, everyone is driven by what is the word used in the verse here? Bhayam. Bhayam means fear. All the activities that one does is out of fear. And the second thing is that everyone is driven by is search for happiness. So which is again a kind of bhayam. If I don't do this, then I will not be happy. Which is again a kind of fear in material world. So ultimately, another point that Prabhupada mentions here is the cycle of birth and death. No one can stop this cycle of birth and death by any other process. Only the Supreme Lord Himself can help you stop this process. Another point Prabhupada mentions further on, one has to be active. One cannot stop activity. So we see when we come to this material world, originally Prabhupada, we heard the Prabhupada audio while on chanting. Prabhupada mentions originally we are all Krishna conscious. We were in spiritual world. But at one point, because of our misuse of free will, avidya, and because of avidya, ignorance, we fall down to this material world. Misuse of independence. We fall down into this material world. And the first thing which struck us is there is a seed of sinful desire, which is known as vision. Nectar of Devotion very nicely explains this. Bhaktivedanta Sindhu explains this whole cycle, how one falls into the cycle of birth and death. So, as soon as one comes to the material world, he gets a seed. Also, Bhaktivedanta Thakur in his song mentions, in the womb he prays to the Lord, please relieve me from this miserable conditions. I promise you that I will be your devotee, I will serve you. And as soon as he says, as soon as he took birth, he forgot, he was overcome. Maya overcome him was surrounded by Snehajana, by the family members, and they all made him believe like he's the center of attraction, he's the most beautiful creation in this universe. So surrounded by Swajana and friends and relatives, he forgets what he had promised to the Lord within the womb. And Maya overcomes us like this. So the point, so Bijam. So there is a seed of sinful desire which, as soon as the living entity comes into the world, this seed sprouts up. There is a desire of, what is that desire? Anyone knows? What is the desire? As soon as the living entity comes into the material world, what is the desire? Sorry? Lording over material energy, yeah. Sense gratification, yes. I am Krishna. What does that mean, I am Krishna? I am the controller. More than that, I am the enjoyer. Everything is for me, my enjoyment. So as soon as the living entity comes, that sinful desire, and it's a sinful desire. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, whether you have the desire for happy, whether you are going through misery or happiness, if you are repenting in a miserable, if you are repenting for a miserable situation, or you are enjoying in the when you get all the situations auspicious or favorable situations, you are still going through the sinful desire. So it's still you are repenting the seeds, repenting the fruits of your karma. So both are sinful. That's why you are in this. It binds you into the material world. So that desire comes into, and because of that desire, what does a living entity do? He performs papam. He performs sinful activities. And when one performs sinful activities, he is bound. He gets a reaction. Any activity in the material world gives equal and opposite reaction. Newton, the Mahatma, has given us this law, right? So any activity you do gives equal and opposite reaction, which is true in our karmic reactions as well. So because of our sinful reactions, we get sinful activities. We get reactions which are prarabdha and aprarabdha, categorized into two. Aprarabdha are the unmanifest reactions, and prarabdha are the manifest reactions. And then these reactions take you to kutam, which gives you another proclivity for committing more sinful. So it implants more sinful desires. And then again one has got the desire which is bijam, and then there is a cycle which one goes through. So it is important to see how we are bound into this material world of birth and death. Anyone in this material world cannot avoid to desire. The desire continues into this material world. One cannot avoid it. Anyone here looking for a job? Any fresher looking for a job? Anyone who has a job? So, whatever job you are satisfied with that job? No. Why? And salary? And salary? You are satisfied with your salary? No. So what would be the ideal salary you want? How much more would you want? Sorry? 15K more. That was the answer I was looking for. Whatever our circumstances are in this room, whether you are on 50K or 150K, we always want 15K more. So, one is never satisfied. Once Prabhu gets a 15K more, he will desire for another 15K. So, it's not possible to be completely happy or satisfied within this material world. Person continuously makes plans. Once, I think most of us have gone through this, those who have come as students. First of all, what is the struggle in student life? To get through? Examinations. That's right, assignments. Once I finish with these assignments, I'll be happy. Once the assignments are finished, once I finish with my course I will be happy. What is the next stage?
Job.
TR before job. Nobody gives us job without TR these days. Unless you are a resident here, people will say you can only wash dishes, right? And that too for $5 or $10 an hour. So the next stage is getting a TR. One is not satisfied. One that's even government of Australia understands this point of what Bhagavad Gita is saying. TR, what does TR mean? Yeah, you are all temporary residents here. They took it, I think, from Bhagavad Gita. So Australian immigration tries to emphasize this. Understand you are a TR. First you have to become a TR before you become what? TR. So we have to understand everything in this material world is TR. Not only in the country, even in your house you are TR. Even in this body you are TR. We struggle. Once we get TR, what do we struggle for? TR. Permanent resident. We want to make this body our PR. But you apply and apply. The body itself will not give you PR. However qualified you are. You cannot get permanent residency in this body. What to speak of country? So then the struggle comes to PR. Once you get PR, then what? Citizenship comes down by. Once you are PR, you are satisfied with the residence status. But what comes after PR?
We want PR for spiritual world.
You want PR for spiritual. I was going to come to that. That's a suspense. So after PR, we are trying to seek job. We want a job. Why job? You got already PR. No, because you want a wife. Without job, nobody will give you his daughter. This is different in this pastime. We see Kardama Muni, did he had a job? But what did he got? What did he get? The daughter of the ruler, emperor of this universe. Swami Manu was ruling this universe and he got his daughter Satyarupa. He did not have a job. As Gaur Gopal Prabhu says, choose your career wisely. So, look at the pastime of Kardama Muni. If you are so elevated or transcendental, you will get. So why to go for a wife who does not give dowry, right? Sorry, but so this is the position. Once one gets PR, one tries for a good job. For what? So that one can marry, not brahmachari. So one tries for. Then what happens once one gets married? Does he become happy? No. What happens then?
House and children.
Sorry?
You want house and children.
Yeah, first we want a house. Because wife continuously pushes, he's saying, pushes. He knows it. Even though he's not married, he's still a student. He knows what happens. So there is a push from wife and family members. Family members are asking for pota chahiye, right? For a grandson. And wife is pushing, until we have a house, we are not going to have any children. So now this is another dilemma. So get a house or children. So to have children, you need a house. So one again struggles. Gets a house, has children, then the misery stop. Miseries increase, right? Students are all different. Once one Prabhu asked me a question. He was changing his ashram and he asked me, how is it like to be a grihastha? So I asked him a question, how are you dealing with your mind? He said, it's very difficult to deal with the mind. I said, imagine you have to deal with two. That's grihastha life. And if you have got kids, 1 or 2 kids, more minds you have to deal with. So that is grihastha life. One has to deal with that many minds. Same with Mataji's, Prabhu's both. They have to deal with multiple minds. They have to adjust. So that is grihastha life. So the whole point is one has to struggle for happiness continuously until the time of death. One cannot get happiness. There is a continuous struggle. So the point is, and here we see, in this verse it is mentioned, one tries to get liberation. So there are 4 stages of persons, 4 kinds of people in this material world. The first stage is animal stage, where people just work, eat, sleep, mate and defend. So they work, every morning they go to work, evening they earn whatever they spend, sleep, procreate. So this is the cycle of a human being which goes on until they are dead. And if in this country at least we get some work-life balance. But if you go to countries like India, China, Japan, all these countries, people don't even realize when their kids are growing. So they don't even have time to see their kids, because when they leave home, they are sleeping, and when they come back, they are sleeping. They are in bed already. So they don't even get time to play with their kids. They get probably half a day on Sunday where they are sleeping and kids are playing. So they really never interact with their kids. So this is the situation in most of the countries, which is animalistic life. They don't realize when the whole life gets over. They are just driven by their senses to satisfy their senses. So second stage of human quality of life or human consciousness is of the mental stage. Mental stage are the people who are little bit using their mind, but they are like the scientists, philosophers, PhD holders, or the people who are doing research. So these people are on the mental platform, but still they are not happy. They are continuously searching for truths, answers, and they become frustrated eventually. And then higher than that are the people of intellectual level. So at the intellectual level, people are the yogis and rishis who have got little bit of intelligence, who are abiding by the scriptures. They are reading the Vedas, but they also, the ultimate goal they are thinking of it is liberation, Sayuja Mukti or Brahman realization. So they are also eventually, as it is mentioned here, they become frustrated. In fact, Lord Brahma in his prayers mentioned, Atapiti Deva Padam Guja Dvaya Prasada Deshanugrahita Eva Janati Tattvam Bhagwan Mahimanu Nachane Eko Api Chiram Vichinman. Lord Brahma says, my dear Lord, if one is favored by even a slight mercy of your lotus feet, he can understand the greatness of your personality. But those who speculate to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead are unable to know you, even though they continue to study the Vedas for many, many years. So there are nice prayers Lord Brahma gives after he was bewildered by Krishna. Actually, we will not go more into the theoretical. We'll take pastime actually, which brings out many, many points which Prabhupada has mentioned in here. So, Lord Brahma, who is Lord Brahma? So, Lord Brahma is the secondary creator, or the he's the most intelligent person in this. He is also called Swayambhu because he appeared not from the parents, he appeared from on the lotus flower. So, Lord Brahma, even Lord Brahma, who is the most intelligent person in this material world, also gets bewildered. We see this Chaturmas, especially Kartik month, we are in Kartik month we offer lamp to the deities. Why? Because this Kartik month is the most auspicious, especially this Chaturmas is the most auspicious of the whole year. Because there is Uttarayana and Dakshinayana, where Uttarayana is where the sun goes upwards, Dakshinayana is where the sun goes downwards. It is mentioned when the sun goes upwards, the demigods are awake, and when the sun goes downwards, the demigods are sleeping. So when the sun goes downwards, because the demigods are sleeping, all the Asuric vrittis or all the Asuric people are active more. So demonic tendencies are more. So that is why once Bhumi Devi went to the Lord and prayed to the Lord Vishnu. Like, in this period, everything inauspicious happens. So please grant something where I can be saved. So then Bhumidevi said, okay, there is a Chaturmas in your period where everyone will do austerity. And because of their austerity, everything will become auspicious. And also he told, during this Chaturmasya, all the demigods are asked to take birth and their puja and worship has to be done. So that we should bring auspicious into this time period. So we see most of the festivals, they fall into this Chaturmasya period. And also Krishna chooses this period, especially the Kartik month, which is the most auspicious of all the other months. And Krishna chooses this period. Most of the pastimes, the sweet pastimes of the Lord happened in Kartik month. The Rasa Lila, the Damodar Lila, Govardhan Lila, they all appeared during this period. Especially in this period, there is one day which is called, we are going to celebrate it on Saturday, right?
Dashera,
Diwali. So that day, Krishna lifted Govardhan Hill. And that was the same day when Rasa Lila also took place. So the pastimes of the Lord are so enchanting that it is easy to forget that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So when Krishna enacts his pastimes, because he is the perfect actor, when a good actor is playing a role, then you get engrossed into that, looking at that actor so much that you actually feel that actor is real, and Krishna is the best of all actors. So when he performs a particular role, it is easy to forget that. So especially the role of a childhood Balya Lila of the Lord. Even Lord Brahma becomes bewildered. And what is that pastime that happens? So once Krishna was playing with his sakhas, and Madhu Mangal was hiding and drinking chas, it is mentioned by the Acharyas. He was drinking chas, and he was hiding behind the tree, and he had a pot of chas, and he was drinking that, thinking if somebody will see him, then he will have to share with him. Madhu Mangal is kind of a personality, he wants to eat a lot. So he was hiding behind the tree, and Krishna saw him. So Krishna ran to get the chas. So as soon as Madhu Mangal saw Krishna is running, he drank the whole pot and put it in his mouth, like this. And Krishna ran and slapped on his face. The whole chas came from his mouth and fell onto Krishna. And now Krishna is taking that and drinking that. And Lord Brahma got a cultural shock. Who is Lord Brahma? It is mentioned in Śrīmad Bhāgavatam that this planet of Satyaloka, which is owned by Lord Brahma, he is offering hundreds and thousands, millions of offerings, sanctified food, with all cleanliness, with all rituals, rules and regulations. Bhakta Brahmana. He is a pure Brahmana. He is offering it to the Lord Vishnu. And he knows this personality is Lord Vishnu. How is that possible? How is it possible that this can be my Lord? No, it's not possible. He was thinking, this 5-year-old boy, how can he be my Lord? So he became bewildered. And he was thinking, let me test him. So this is the whole pastime which took place. So at that time Krishna was only 4 years old. And this thing happened. So we have to understand. And Parikshit Maharaj after. So Parikshit Maharaj is hearing the narration. Parikshit Maharaj is hearing Sukadeva Goswami is explaining the birth of Krishna, and then he has explained how Mother Yashoda is looking after Krishna, baby Krishna, and baby Krishna is sucking on the breast of Mother Yashoda. Parikshit Maharaj said, what is it that this personalities like Mother Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj have done, that Krishna, the Supreme Lord, is sucking on the breast of Mother Yashoda, is completely dependent on them? What is the auspicious thing? So Parikshit Maharaj is a pure devotee, and he also has got a desire of knowing what have these people done. So this is one thing we have to understand. Anyways, we'll come to that point. But one cannot, even one gets liberation, one cannot get this opportunity to personally serve Krishna like Mother Yashoda and Nanda. So try to understand who are these personalities. It's mentioned there were two personalities, Sudapa and Prishni. Sudapa and Prishni, who were they? Anyone knows? Vasudeva and Devaki. So Sudapa and Prishni in their previous life, they did a lot of austerity, and because of their austerity, when Lord appeared in front of them, they asked, "We want to serve you as our child," and their desire was for liberation. So Lord granted that boon. And who are Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda? It is mentioned there were two personalities, Drona and Dhara. And these two personalities also served the Lord. And they served the Lord in the mood of not liberation. They did not serve the Lord to achieve liberation, but their mood was of Vatsalya mood. They actually wanted to serve the Lord. And when Lord appeared, they also did a lot of austerity. And when Lord appeared in front of them, they asked, "We want to serve you as our child." So we see Lord Krishna was born to both Vasudeva and Devaki as well as Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda, but they personally got to serve. So Sukadeva Goswami is further explaining who these personalities are. So there are Nitya Siddhas and then there are Sadhana Siddhas. We know the difference, right? Nitya Siddhas are the eternal devotees of the Lord, and Sadhana Siddhas are the ones who by their sadhana by their sadhana they come to Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti, they come to Raganuga Sadhana Bhakti, they follow in the footsteps of Ragatmika Bhaktas, and then they perfect their life. And so these two personalities, Drona and Dhara, were able to become Mother Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj. So once, and we know the pastime, Krishna was famous for what? Stealing. Thief, as a thief. So obviously when someone's child is famous for some inappropriate activities, the parents are always worried and tense. So Mother Yashoda was also worried. First worry was, does she not give enough to the child? This is the most important worry. Every mother wants to feed the child more than he can digest. He wants to feed, if he is eating one sandwich or one roti, the mother wants two. Why is he only eating one?
You have to go to the doctor.
Yeah. So, and if somebody is eating two, then the mother wants to feed 4 and 8, and because he's growing. So that is one of the worry even Mother Yashoda had. My son, first of all, because I think the maids are making butter, he doesn't like the butter. So I must personally cook butter. And the second worry Mother Yashoda was, if he is famous as thief right now, when he grows he will be stealing big things. Who will marry my son? My son will be, what is it called? No. My son will be labeled as a thief, right? So no person will give his daughter to my son. So what will happen to him in his future?
He won't get married.
Yeah, he will not be able to get married. That is one of the problems, right? Parents have. How will my son marry, isn't it? So there was also a problem. There was also a concern for Mother Yashoda. So one day she personally got up. So how many cows did Nanda Maharaj have?
9 lakhs.
900,000 cows. In olden days, people were considered rich by 2 things. How much gold they had. Right? No. Gold, even the Sudras had gold. They used to eat in a plates which were made up of gold. So, and they were wearing ornaments of the king. It's mentioned all the Vaishyas, kings, they used to give out, they used to wear clothes and then they give it to the Sudras as charity. If you read Nanda Maharaj gave so much of charity every day, not once a month, once a year. Every day he used to give charity. So this was the quality, and even the Sudras used to enjoy the topmost happiness that we can not even imagine in today's life. We are struggling to get 100k jobs. And the Sudras used to eat in gold plates. So gold was not wealth was not a measure of someone's richness. The measure of someone being really rich is how much land he has and how much cows he has. So Nanda Maharaj was the king of Raja, and he had 9 lakh cows, 900,000 cows. So Mother Yashoda, one day she woke up early thinking, my son is stealing, so I need to do something. So she went and picked up the best of those cows. Those are known as Padma Gandha cows. They used to give milk, best of the milk, which had a fragrance of a lotus. So, and they were fed also special grass, not the ordinary grass. It was properly grown, and these cows were looked after like the special cows. So Mother Yashoda picked up those cows and removed milk from the udder, and she personally churned the milk to make butter. So, and the milk was boiling and she was churning the butter. And that day Krishna woke up and he saw that today, every day Mother Yashoda is next to him when he wakes up. But today Mother Yashoda is not there. What is the reason? And he got upset. Because as soon as Krishna wakes up, we never see Krishna alone. He always wants to be surrounded by his devotees, pure devotees. So Krishna got upset. How come he is alone today? And he could hear outside Mother was churning, and Mother Yashoda was singing. So there is another thing, it is explained in Bhagavatam. Mother Yashoda was wearing a yellow sari, orangish yellow sari, and she had bangles, earrings, armlets, necklaces, waist belt. All these ornaments were there, golden ornaments were there. And it is mentioned everything in spiritual world is conscious. Everything is full of life. And what is the purpose of everything being conscious?
You can enjoy
To serve Krishna. So everyone wants to do just one thing, that is to serve the Lord. And this is one thing we have to understand. In this verse it is mentioned, the sages strive for liberation. But even though they get liberation, they will not be satisfied. Prabhupada mentioned this, in the purport, Prabhupada mentions this verse. Ye anya aditaksha vimukta maninas tvayasta bhavat avishuddha buddhaya. So even though they are trying to aspire for liberation, their buddha or their intelligence is avishuddha. Intelligence is impure. And because of that, even though they think they are at the liberated platform, they fall down. Patanti, they fall down from that position. So, coming back to our pastime, so Mother Yashoda is churning butter. And it is mentioned, all these ornaments, usually why do the women wear all these ornaments? To beautify themselves. But actually, because of the effulgence of Mother Yashoda, she was beautifying these ornaments. So these ornaments were feeling ashamed in front of the beauty of Mother Yashoda. And Mother Yashoda was naturally singing the glories of the Lord. It was not like some songwriter wrote a script and Mother Yashoda was singing those songs. No. Spontaneous. Ragatmika. These are Ragatmika Bhakta we are talking about. Ragatmika means spontaneous. Mother Yashoda was spontaneously singing the pastimes of the Lord. Whatever activities he did, and when this devotee is singing these pastimes, it is sweet, it is automatically rhyming. It's not like me speaking this thing, which is hard to understand. But when pure devotees sing about glories of the Lord, it is rhyming, it is a perfect song. And along with that, it is mentioned, the earrings, the bangles of Mother Yashoda while she was churning was making a sound. And that sound was of a kartal being played perfectly in rhythm with the song. It is not out of beat. We struggle hard to keep the beats. But this was because they are all conscious. And the churning rod, which was churning, the rod also makes a particular kind of a sound when you are churning butter, right? That rod was making a perfect mridanga sound. So everything was going perfectly in this scenario. And it is mentioned, out of love and affection, there was milk coming out of
Breast.
the breast of Mother Yashoda. And the milk was thinking, now Mother Yashoda is making this butter for Krishna. And obviously Krishna loves butter more than anything else. So he is not going to drink me. So what is the use? So it was just flowing out and coming out of the breast and committing suicide. So everything was going on perfectly until what? Until Krishna woke up. So Krishna woke up and he saw there is nothing, and he's already in a bit upset mood because today Mother Yashoda is not there to wake him up, to feed him milk. So Krishna can hear this sound coming from outside. So somebody is doing kirtan there. So he goes there. There's another point. Mother Yashoda was completely engrossed in serving Krishna, in doing service. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, all these 9 verses is given by Prahlad Maharaj. Sadhana Bhakti, that we do 64 Angas of Sadhana Bhakti. These devotees don't have to know this. Because they are continuously, they are completely engrossed in the thoughts of Krishna and completely serving. And whenever a devotee is completely engrossed in the service of the Lord all the time, Krishna comes. This is the point we have to remember. Krishna comes to that devotee. One does not have to go to Krishna. That is why Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj says, don't try to see Krishna. Do something that Krishna wants to see you. So one has to be, and also Prabhupada, once one devotee was standing outside and Prabhupada was passing by, and that devotee asked, what should I do? He was paying obeisances. He said, don't do this, you clean this floor which is dirty. So do some practical service. So Mother Yashoda was completely engrossed in serving the Lord, and Lord came there actually. And when Krishna came there, Mother Yashoda, out of affection, naturally picked up the Lord and started to breastfeed her. And when she was feeding, there was another pastime taking on. Mother Yashoda had kept the milk to boil. And that milk is thinking, now Krishna is drinking milk from the breast of Mother Yashoda, so he's not going to drink me. There is another envy. We see spiritual world also has got envy. But that envy is not because of I want to be satisfied. That envy is because I want to satisfy Krishna. In material world, Nectar of Devotion says, Rupa Goswami says in Bhakti Rasamrita Sudhi, what are the motivation for a person to act in material world? Aham mameti. Aham means I, mameti means mine. I am the center of everything and everything is for my pleasure. But for a devotee, that aham mameti changes into mamatva and tadyatva. So mamatva means I am yours and tadyatva means you are mine. So this is the subtle difference of, not subtle, it's a big difference, but the whole I and mine concept, when it changes into mamatva and tadyatva, I am yours and you are mine. So when it changes, then one can easily get entry into the spiritual world. So we don't have to give up I and mine, we just have to give up the consciousness between I and mine. I am yours and you are mine. So the milk was thinking, what is my use? Let me boil and fall down from this pot into the fire. Again commit suicide. So let me fall down into this fire. What is my use? So the milk which was boiling fell into the fire. And as soon as Mother Yashoda saw this, she took Krishna and kept him down on the floor, and she ran to pick up the pot which was boiling. Again, Krishna was already upset since morning because Mother Yashoda wasn't there, and now she, in fact, just to save little bit of milk, we have got so many cows, just to save little bit of milk, she threw me down. So he really got upset. Now we'll quickly go through the story because we are running short of time. So Krishna just, we know the pastime, breaks the pot. Not only breaks the pot, he spilled the milk. Yeah, he threw all the milk from the butter from the pot and stepped on it and ran and he went into the place, storage house, where all the other pots were kept. There also he broke all the pots. He was really angry mood because now his devotee has ignored him. How can he be happy? So he went, break more pots in there, and then he called out all the monkeys. He opened the windows, and the monkeys came, and he was feeding all the monkeys this butter. So again, there is a pastime in Lord Ram's time. These monkeys had helped him. So this time Krishna was reciprocating with them. But then Mother Yashoda comes. She is upset when she sees this whole pot has been broken. Curd was spread everywhere. She could understand. And there were steps of baby Krishna going into the storeroom. She could understand who has done this. So she picked up a stick and ran into the... She also got angry now. She ran into the storage house, and she saw that Krishna is there and feeding all the monkeys, and she really became upset with this. And when Krishna saw that Mother Yashoda is now angry, and not only angry, she has got a stick as well. What did he do? He ran. This is again a contradiction. If you tell someone our God is scared of his devotee, people will not believe you. So we have to understand Krishna is the perfect, not only perfect actor, but he has got all the emotions within him. So there are different bhavas, we won't go into that. But Krishna, when he is dealing with his devotee, he agrees to be covered by his Yogamaya potency. He agrees to be natural in his actual form. He does not want to know that he is God. Because if he cannot forget that he is God, he cannot reciprocate with his devotees. And the devotees also cannot reciprocate with him. So Krishna actually forgets he is Supreme Lord. And in fact, the devotees also forget. It's not like they did not know. Garga Muni had made a prediction. This boy is Narayana Samo. This boy is not different than Narayana. He is equal to Narayana. Also, when Nanda Maharaj had drowned into the ocean, he personally went to Varuna and then brought him, and all the Varuna there and all they are offering prayers, and they made Krishna sit on the Vyasasana and offering all this prayers and paraphernalia. And he saw this, and when he brings out Nanda Maharaj explains all this pastime. So they knew that Krishna was supreme, but their love was so greater than the knowledge of him being supreme that it covered it. It made them forget that Krishna is supreme. Let him be the supreme, but he is still our son, he is still our friend, he is still our lover. So their love was much greater than their knowledge of. So we try to get knowledge to understand Krishna is supreme, but the Vrajvasi, the eternal associates, they forget knowledge to understand, to reciprocate with the Lord. So this is the difference of Nitya Siddha devotees and sadhana, those who are practicing on the sadhana level. But it is required for us that we perform sadhana and then we come to Raganuga where it is spontaneous, and we follow in the footsteps of Raganuga Bhakta. So until we get to that stage, we have to perform all this 64 angas of sadhana bhakti. So coming back to the pastime, now Krishna is running and Mother Yashoda is actually running. It is mentioned Mother Yashoda is sweating, she is angry, and her hair are become loose, all the flowers are falling down, and she is fatigued. So the Aishwarya Shakti of the Lord is not allowing him to be captured. But then the Kripa Shakti, so Lord has got innumerable Shaktis. So the Kripa Shakti of the Lord is now active. And the Kripa Shakti of the Lord, so there are two things, we all know, two things are required in our bhakti. The first thing is endeavor and mercy. So by our endeavor we can go to a certain stage, but then the mercy comes in, and then it is, we see in this case, then Kripa Shakti of the Lord acted and Krishna was able to be captured. And we know Mother Yashoda was trying to bind and it was 2 fingers short. She brought in all the ropes that were available, still it was 2 fingers short. And then Acharyas have mentioned, then Srimati Radharani comes there. And Prabhu, so then Radharani comes there. And when Srimati Radharani comes there, Krishna is not able to remain. So it is mentioned Radharani gives a ribbon from her hair, and immediately that 2 fingers short was completed. Krishna could not help himself. There is also another pastime where Krishna ran into the forest between the Rasalila, and then he assumed the form of 400 form of Vishnu when the gopis are going past. And they couldn't realize, and they paid their obeisances when they saw Vishnu. They paid their obeisances. And then they asked Lord Vishnu, have you seen Krishna? So he just pointed in the direction and they all ran away. But then Srimati Radharani comes there and immediately those 4 arms, 2 arms disappeared. He could not remain in that form because the love of Srimati Radharani is so high that Krishna becomes nervous actually. As soon as he sees Srimati Radharani, he becomes nervous. He sweats and there are different things. But so, as soon as it is mentioned, Srimati Radharani came there, he was bound. Also, the Kripa Shakti of the Lord allowed Srimati Mother Yashoda to bind him. So, there were multiple things happening at the same time. So, they bind him, I'll take 5 more minutes, sorry. So, they bind him and then Mother Yashoda goes to the river. And now, Mother Yashoda is there still. And then, after this, Krishna is crying. It is mentioned Rudantam Muhur Netram. So his eyes are wet. He's crying profusely. It's not like he was acting of crying, but he was actually crying. And at that time, Lord Balaram comes there. And now, when Lord Balaram, who is the emblem of Savinta Shri, he is the Adi Guru. Nobody can serve Krishna better than Lord Balaram. He is from Krishna, the first expansion is Lord Balaram. And his purpose is to serve Krishna. Vrindavan, it is mentioned, whole of Vrindavan is the expansion from Lord Balaram. So Lord Balaram's existence or purpose is to serve Krishna. And he comes there and he sees Krishna in this condition. Imagine, and Lord Balaram is known for his anger. What would be the condition of Lord Balaram when he sees Krishna crying and that too bound? He actually was going to take a form of Sankarshan. And he became angry and he's shouting, whoever has done this, I am Sankarshan. From my hoods, I will burn this whole universe. And I am Anantashesh. I am Anantashesh. From my hoods, the fire will burn the whole of universe. And I am Sankarshan. I can drown the whole universe in just moments. Whoever has done this, he will be punished severely. And then someone from back, one of the boys said, Mother Yashoda did it. And his immediately anger reduced. He came down. Then he went to Mother Yashoda. He was still a little bit of angry because how can Mother Yashoda bind Krishna? So he went and told Mother Yashoda, don't you know who this personality is? He mentioned first, I am Sankarshan, I am Anantashesh, I am Lakshman. You should, he said, don't you know who this personality is? He is Vishnu, he is Narayan. He is the topmost personality, he should be worshipped. How can you bind him like this? And Mother Yashoda is saying, then who are you? And he said, I am Sankarshan, Lakshman, I am Anantashesh. And Mother Yashoda is saying jokingly, why do all the incarnations have to come in my house only? And she picks up the stick and says, if you don't run away from here, I'll beat you also and bind you also. And immediately, Lord Balaram is running. And while running, going out, he's telling Krishna, I have told you so many times to stop this stealing business. See, now you have got in a problem and you have got me also into this problem. So then he goes away. So the point is the pure love of the devotee is so strong, even the most powerful Lord, Krishna and Balaram, become incapable. incapable of doing anything. It is mentioned, after that the Damodar pastime happens, which we won't go into, but after the trees fell down, Krishna, nobody else could remove the ropes of Krishna, only Nanda Maharaj could. Why? Why? Yes, because Nanda Maharaj was the only one who was equal to Mother Yashoda in Vatsalya Bhava. So only he could remove the ropes of Krishna. So this is the point we have to understand. By getting liberation, by all the processes, Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, one cannot get liberation. One cannot become happy. Just by understanding these pastimes, following the footsteps of these devotees, one can easily transcend this material world. Okay, we don't have time for questions or comments, but if there is only one, we can take. Okay, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.